Hello, Year 7, it's Mr. Sacco, and I'm going to do a little narrated PowerPoint with you today on a, let's say, little quirk of the German language. And once we have worked out this quirk, we are able to improve it in our writing and able to give opinions a lot more accurately. So we're going to look today at the difference between mag versus gern. What both of them do is they allow you to express your opinions about things. And we're going to look at how they do that in a slightly different manner and how we can compare that to English to help us avoid making mistakes in the future. So what I'd like you to do is just have a look at two example sentences that are very similar in terms of the message that they are bringing across, but have got some differences in the way that they are written. So we've got Ich mag Schokolade and we have Ich esse gern Schokolade. Okay, so we might notice that actually they are saying the same thing. We can work out they are saying something positive about chocolate, but they're doing it in a slightly different way. So we've got Ich mag Schokolade and then we have Ich esse gern Schokolade, and we're going to look at the difference now. So Ich mag Schokolade can be translated as the following in English. It is like saying that you like something and then immediately follow it with the noun, so the person, the place, or the thing that you like. So in this example, it will be I like chocolate. Ich esse gern is still a positive opinion about chocolate, but it does something slightly different. So that's like expressing that you like doing something. So we have the ing here at the bottom. I'm just going to try and highlight that for you. Because in English, the way that we express that is by having our verb and adding ing to the end. So in this case, it would translate as I like eating chocolate rather than I like chocolate. What's very important is that you never, ever, ever do the following, which is to think that gern or nicht gern can be used as a verb. So those phrases, gern and nicht gern, which mean to like to do something or not liking to do something, never are used as a verb. Okay, so for example, you can never use ich gern. That is never ever possible in German. What you might want to express, or when someone has written that in their writing, what they're trying to say is I like something. However, in German, we use gern only when we have a verb with it. So something that we like doing, not just a thing that we like. So what we usually advise you to do is to think of it as the word gladly. Now that is a little bit stilted for us. It's not something that we would say. So we wouldn't say, I gladly eat chocolate in English, but that is the closest that we can translate gern in German. So for example, we might say, ich spiele gern. So we can roughly translate that as, I like to gladly play. We've got du lernst gern, which is you gladly learn. Ich esse nicht gern. I do not gladly eat. Wir trinken gern. We gladly drink. And sie spielt gern. She plays gladly. Okay, so it's very, very important that whenever you have written a longer text or a longer piece of writing, that you check whether you have got ich gern in there, and then you need to go back and think about, are you saying that you like doing something? In which case you would need a little verb between ich and gern. So the thing, trying to highlight that here, the thing that you like doing, whether that's to watch, to play, would need to go in between. Or is it that you are saying you like a certain thing, so films or the football team that you like? In that case, you would have to use ich mag. So we are going to look at a couple of examples now, and we're going to really try and focus on the difference that the words mag and gern show us. So we've got the example of foosball. So I might either say I like football, which could include watching it, or going to the match, just in general, I like football, or I like playing football. So they might seem very similar to us, but actually just because you like watching football or you like football in general might not mean that you like playing it. So let's have a look at how would we translate the first one into German. Okay, so remember we've got I like and then immediately the thing that we like afterwards, which in this case is football. So we would say Ich mag Fußball. So here we have got our person, which is ich or I. Then we've got mag, I like, and then we have the thing immediately after. As you can see, it's got a capital letter, which means it's a noun. So that helps us work these out. It's always mag plus a noun, so the next letter would always have to be one that uses a capital letter. The second option is I like playing football, which we would translate as Ich spiele gern Fußball. Okay, so here we have the person, ich, then we have our verb, the thing that we like doing. So I play, then we have gern, which we're now going to translate as gladly, because we're saying it's a positive opinion that we have. So I play gladly, and then we have football. Okay, and because we've got this verb here in the second position, we need to use gern, not mag. So let's have a look at the next example. So you might want to pause the video and have a go at translating these phrases yourself and then double checking, but I'm just going to run through those now. So we've got I like pasta. I like and then a noun immediately after. In German, that would be Ich mag Nudeln. Then we have I like eating pasta. Very, very similar message, but as you can see in English, we are using different words. We are making a slight difference there. In German, we do the following. Ich esse gern Nudeln. So again, the verb esse is right in front of gern. They always belong together, verb plus gern, mag plus noun. Okay, another example. We can do this with subjects as well because they are nouns. So we might say I like maths, which translates into Ich mag Mathematik. And then I like learning maths, which is Ich lerne gern Mathematik. Okay, again, we've got mag plus the noun Mathematik, or the other option, lerne plus gern plus Mathematik. Okay, another example here. I like jeans and I like wearing jeans. So the first one would be Ich mag jeans, and the second one, Ich trage gern jeans. Okay, both express a positive opinion about it, but there's a slight difference and we need to make sure we have a verb in front of gern. So here we have a slightly trickier example that we just need to make sure that we're really clear in how we need to express it. So we have I like swimming, and then we have the other option of I like going swimming. So strictly speaking, in the second sentence, we have got two verbs there, so going and swimming. And in the first sentence, we've actually, it seems like we have a verb, so swimming. However, in this case, we are treating it as if it is a noun. So I like the activity that is swimming. So the same rules apply. We just need to be very careful with how we translate them. So the first one would be Ich mag schwimmen. And because we have turned swimming into a noun, so the activity of swimming here, we have got a capital letter in the German version. And then the second option is I like going swimming. which in German is Ich gehe gern schwimmen. Okay, so we have got our verb here. Ich gehe gern, I like to, or I gladly do a certain activity, and then we have schwimmen. So again, it's been put into a noun here. So what I would suggest you do is, if you know that you're going to use swimming to talk about free time activities, make sure that you learn it properly and you pay particular attention to getting the word order right so that you can get some extra marks for this. So the example we're looking at now is actually expressing a negative opinion. So we've so far always done I like or I like doing, but now we're going to say something that we don't like or don't like doing. So in this case, we will have I don't like coffee and I don't like drinking coffee. Again, they have got the same message as a negative opinion this time, but there is a little bit of a grammatical difference. We've just included drinking in the second phrase in English. So let's have a look at the German. So we have Ich mag Kaffee nicht and Ich trinke nicht gern Kaffee. Okay, now what's very important is in this second sentence, the German translation, the nicht has gone kind of in between the verb and the gern. So that's where it belongs. Okay, ich trinke nicht gern Kaffee. In the first sentence, we have nicht at the end. That is more the proper way to say it in German. However, you may also use Ich mag nicht Kaffee. It is acceptable to use that. The option that we've got here, though, is the one that Germans would use in conversation a lot more. Okay, so I've got a little practice here for you, a little translation practice. So what I would suggest you might want to do is pause the video and then have a go at translating these phrases, paying particular attention to whether you need ich mag or ich plus a verb plus gern. The sentences are very similar, so you need to make sure that you're practicing and using that rule that we looked at earlier. So you may want to skip the video back a little bit if you need the explanation again. Otherwise, pause the video here and have a go at the translations and see if you can have a go at the little extra challenge that we've got here at the bottom, which is how to say in German, I like dancing. Okay, and there's a tip there that there are two possibilities. So dancing, very similar to swimming, it could be a noun or it could be a verb. Okay, so you might want to pause the video and then I'm going to continue with the answers. So let's have a look at the correct translations of those phrases. Okay, so the first one was I like bananas, which is Ich mag Bananen. Okay, slightly different option for number 2, which was Ich esse gern Bananen. I eat bananas gladly, or I like eating bananas, which is the way that we would say it most. Then we have Ich mag Orangensaft nicht. I don't like orange juice. And ich trinke nicht gern Orangensaft. So number 3 is I don't like orange juice. Number 4 is I don't like drinking orange juice. And as you can see, the nicht has slipped in between the verb trinke and the gern. Number 5 is mag Monopoly. So make sure that you have translated or have paid attention to the fact that it was mentioning another person. So we had he likes Monopoly. Then you should have mag in there. Or spielt gern Monopoly. Okay, so make sure that you've got the correct conjugation, we call it. So rather than saying spiele, which you would say in Ich spiele gern Monopoly, we have spielt gern Monopoly. Number 7 is Ich mag Kaffee nicht. So you might remember that from the examples that we looked at earlier. Make sure that you're nicht is at the end. If it isn't and you've got ich mag nicht Kaffee, it's not in the end of the world. But this option just makes you sound a lot more authentically German. And then number 8 is ich trinke nicht gern Kaffee. I don't like to drink coffee. Okay, so either fix or tick your statements if you got them correct, and then let's have a look at the extension underneath, which is how to say I like dancing in German. So we knew that there were 2 options with this one. So in an exam, if you maybe are struggling and you've forgotten the rule for mag versus gern, maybe try and think about I like dancing, whether that's true or not, and see if you can work around it that way and give us a positive opinion. Because you have got 2 options, which are either ich tanze gern or ich mag tanzen. Okay, so as you can see, in our second option, we have got a capital letter here for tanzen, and we've got the en ending here as well. So we've turned to dance into dancing as if it is a noun. Okay. So to kind of finish off, I would like us to have a go at a little bit of a listening task, which is a delayed dictation. Now, if I've taught you this year, then you might be aware of these, you might recognize some of these. So delayed dictation works in that I'm going to read out a couple of sentences. You listen carefully and keep them in your head for 10 seconds and you don't write anything down. And after 10 seconds, you then write down what you remember. We're going to focus obviously in particular on phrases with ich mag and ich plus a verb plus gern. Okay, so make sure you've got some scrap paper or a whiteboard if you have one, or you can use the whiteboard on the back of your planner as well. And then we'll make a start. So I'm going to read out every sentence twice and I'm going to slow it right down, so don't panic, but you may want to pause the video whilst you're writing and then restart it. So sentence number 1. Ich mag Sport. Ich mag Sport. Sentence number 2. Ich lerne gern Englisch. Ich lerne gern Englisch. Number 3. Ich esse nicht gern Gemüse. Ich esse nicht gern Gemüse. Number 4. Ich mag Gemüse nicht. Ich mag Gemüse nicht. And the next sentence. Ich trinke gern Tee. Ich trinke gern Tee. And the next sentence. Ich mag Kekse. Ich mag Kekse. And last sentence. Ich spiele nicht gern Rugby. Ich spiele nicht gern Rugby. Okay, so you may want to pause. You can skip the video back and play them again. Just make sure you don't skip forward to try and get the answers quickly. The important thing is to train your brain to hear the German and kind of get practice using those 2 different structures that we looked at today. So I'm going to move on to the answers next. So if you have a green pen or a different color pen, you might want to tick or fix your answers depending on what we've got here. So we've got number 1, ich mag Sport, I like sport. Number 2, ich lerne gern English, which is I like learning English. Then 3 and 4 are very similar, but hopefully we've listened out for that difference between them. So number 3 is ich esse nicht gern Gemüse. I do not like eating vegetables. And number 4, ich mag Gemüse nicht. I don't like vegetables. Number 5 is ich trinke gern Tee. I like to drink tea. And number 6, ich mag Kekse, which is I like biscuits. Careful, Kekse is not cakes, that would be Kuchen, but Kekse is biscuits. And then the last one, ich spiele nicht gern Rugby. Okay, so you've got a couple of options with these. Now what you may want to do is, now that you see them in front of you, you might want to have a go at translating them back into English and then translating them back without looking at the slides into German and checking whether you have used that mag or verb plus gern structure correctly. So you've got the video to help you there, but try and kind of test yourselves a little bit as well. Okay, so hopefully this has helped you with the whole mag versus gern debate. If you have got any questions, please feel free to either get in touch with me or any of your German teachers. And keep in mind that we do have our regular Zoom drop-ins as well. Just make sure that you've got a question prepared if you do want to drop in. And if it's on gern versus mag, it's probably going to be really useful to discuss that with your teacher in a Zoom session. Okay, I hope you're doing well and you're keeping safe, and I hopefully will see you very soon. Auf Wiedersehen!